Unboxings aren't something I typically do, and I just screwed up this one. I recorded, but there wasn't any sound, and I didn't feel like going back and doing a voiceover. It just wouldn't work as well. So I'm sorry, but you miss out on me tearing the cellophane off this box in an erotic fashion. I'll know better next time. This is Zombicide, but it's the Black Plague edition, which is a medieval fantasy version of Zombicide, which is a really great cooperative zombie slaying board game. So me and my group and others really loved the original modern Zombicide. It's got a few issues. The difficulty ramps up perhaps too much sometimes, so you have to be incredibly careful, and there's some oddities about the rules. I'm not going to assume this is exactly the same. I'm sure some details have been changed to make it fit with the kind of medieval fantasy side of things. But yeah, it was worth a punt. This will rush you about £90. You might find better deals somewhere. I bought my copy at Leisure Games in London when I was visiting with Satine and friends doing their grand European tour. It sounds like a lot of money, but if you use minis in other games, or if you use tiles, maps and so forth in other games, then things like this aren't actually that drastic or horrible a layout to make. I mean, there's over 70 miniatures in this, and they are plastic, but it's good quality plastic. Plastics come on in leaps and bounds, and these are things that you're often going to use: heroes, zombies. These are staples of fantasy gaming, and just the minis alone would probably cost you more than £80 or £90 if you were buying them. So, tip for the cash conscious gamer: if you want to get a lot of minis at a relatively low price, and you want some maps, some terrain tiles and so on, then board games are often a good way to go. Zombicide is one example. Privateer Press do board games based in their Iron Kingdoms setting as well, and those are well worth getting just for the minis alone. And like I say, the plastic quality these days is a lot better than we were used to in the days of, I don't know, Hero Quest or something. They are really good, and they seem to take paint well for other people. I've only just started getting back into miniature painting, so yeah, not to the point where I'm ready to share anything yet, because I'm fucking terrible. But if you're a decent mini painter, then yeah, these are good too. Alright, let's break her open. Oh, okay. So we've got a rule book here. They have this kind of semi-cartoony style that reminds me very much of the old Heavy Gear art. And despite being cartoony in some ways, it really fits and it works, and it's really evocative of the setting. So I've got no real complaints there. I think the Zombicide style is perhaps slightly more reminiscent of French or Spanish comics, whereas Heavy Gear was obviously going for more of an anime influence, but it does really bring the setting to life. So I'm sure some of the rules have to be changed. Like I said, we love the modern games, played them a lot, tons of minis from that, speaking of that being worthwhile. I'm sure some things have had to change, so I'm really trying not to assume that this game works in exactly the same way or anything. So I'll have a proper peruse of the rules, and then maybe tomorrow I'll do a little demo game for you. There's usually a tutorial quest or mission in the game, and I've got a busy day tomorrow, so I might be able to just squeeze out a quick video showing that and taking you through the rules a little. So that's something. It looks broadly similar. Ooh, battle nuns. Who doesn't like battle nuns? There's magic and so on in this, which is a little different. So I'll be curious to see how that plays. It probably takes the place of some of the ranged weapons that are used in the original Zombicide, because melee was always very deadly. I'm not sure entirely how they've solved that, whether there's special armor rules or something like that. We'll see, I guess. Now, it is a cooperative game, which is something I find more and more that I prefer. Working together against the game rules in the Cthulhu games, or Zombicide, or Forbidden Desert, or Forbidden Island. There's plenty of other cooperative games. I just tend to prefer that to the backstabbing and rules arguing that always seems to result from competitive games. I know, I'm a wuss. Which isn't to say I don't like competitive games sometimes, it's just by and large I tend to prefer playing the cooperative ones. This is boxed up much nicer than the original Zombicide. It's much more organised, makes a lot more sense in a lot of ways. I mean, here you can see some of the minis. So you've got standard walkers, a couple of types, several types actually. You've got runners. I know some people don't think running zombies are right, but they work in this. You've got fat zombies, and you have kind of ultimate badass zombies which occasionally show up and spoil your day. Plus you have the heroes here in the brown. Probably can't make it out. I've left it on autofocus, which means it's going to be jumping all over the place, but I knew you might want to look at some of these. The detailing is pretty good. They're not super bendy and soft like a lot are, and they're not as brittle as a lot of other plastic minis are. I think they've struck kind of exactly the right balance there. This is new. This seems to be some sort of play tray for your characters, and it's got a built-in tracker. As you progress through the game and as you slaughter more zombies, your kill count goes up and your character becomes more powerful, gets access to more skills and so on, but also more zombies show up. At least if that's akin to the modern game. This seems to me a far better way of doing things than the little clip-on trackers and so on they had in the modern game, which kind of wore the cardboard a bit if you played a lot, and the little trackers tended to get lost and so on. So this seems like a much better way to keep track of things. There's holes for little pegs. Looks like you can slot your cards in there for equipment. So all things considered, yeah, this seems like a pretty good way of organising this. That must be weapon, character card, armour, and these must be for putting pegs in to keep track of things. So yeah, they've upped their game in terms of presentation without jacking up the price, so it seems. So you've got tokens here, dice. These must be the little pegs that fit in these holes to keep track of things. So yeah, that's good. A definite improvement on previous versions. So beneath that we've got another layer of zombies, as you can see. Plenty of zombies. You'll need lots of zombies because you will slaughter them all in vast numbers, which is another part of what makes this fun. You know, you get a good roll, you kill half dozen zombies in one mighty blow, and you feel like a total badass. Right, let's try and get this back on. There we go. So like I was saying, you know, besides the value of the minis, you also tend to get floor tiles and corridors and things in these games, and these make it worthwhile buying as well. These fit together to form the playboard. So you've got your streets and your interiors, just like hovels and stores and things like that, and they're double-sided. So that's good quality cardstock, good value for money again. And again, you can use these to set up little areas of streets and alleys and so on for your fantasy games. This is new too, the tray for organising. I'm guessing that's for organising tokens and cards and so on. There's your character cards. You've got a battle nun, a wizard, A warrior with a shield. What I'm taking to be a dwarf or blacksmith. An ale wench. Who doesn't like ale wenches? And I think he's meant to be an elf, given the pointy ears. That looks like a tusk, but it's actually just his mouth opening a grimace. So those are cool. As you can see, I had popped a couple because I know people like to watch bits of card get popped out for some reason. Maybe the same reason people watch blackheads being squeezed on YouTube. Who knows? It's a nice little corner brace here because while the boxes are good, and I do use them to transport other stuff that's not Zombicide, they do wear out eventually and kind of pop through. So yeah, corner reinforcements is a good thing. Alright, for those of you who are into that sort of thing. Satisfying. Whoa! Okay. What? One more, given that popped so far. There we go. Happy now? Good. But yeah, so like I was saying, it's, you know, if you are a cash-conscious gamer, buying a board game like this, or like Widower's Wood, or I think Undercity was the other one that Privateer Press did, it really does represent great value for money. You get miniatures, you get boards, which you can use for other games, and on top of all that, you know, you get a kick-ass board game on top of that. So it's well worth doing. So yeah, tomorrow I'm pretty busy. I might not be able to do a video. If I do, I might do a quick little playtest run through of this to show you how it plays. Zang. Box fart. Postmortem Studios is my personal imprint where I create role-playing games, stories, card games, board games, and more. You can get them at RPG Now, DriveThruRPG, Lulu.com, and some on Amazon. Role-playing games to die for.